What is up, fight fans? We got episode 12, Glove Talk, here with Jose, but he's back in Michigan now. He's in the coast.
Yeah, I'm freezing up here already.
We're gonna go over the Song Yadong fight night card and versus Ricky Simon, and also we're gonna go over UFC 288. I think this is Henry Cejudo versus Aljamain Sterling.
And BKFC, baby.
Yeah, BKFC. We get to go over Mike Perry versus Luke Rockhold and Jose Alvarez versus Chad Mendez. So they're actually entertaining fights. So besides Luke Rockhold quitting, so let's get into it for the prelims for the fight night. First we had Haley Cowan versus Jamie Lynn Horth. Haley Cowan, physical girl, but I feel like she doesn't like use all of mixed martial arts. I feel like she's heavy on boxing. She doesn't really throw that many kicks, and I think that's what ended up giving her the decision loss. Lynn Horth out of Canada getting the W. So.
Yeah, I think she was pressing too much to get a takedown as well. Like, even when it wasn't there, like, she kept trying to clinch when, Lindhorst had really good defense in the clinch. Great kicks. Those body kicks were nasty. She kept throwing them. Cowan had no answer to him at all the whole fight. So, I mean, great fight for Jamie Lynn Hort. She went down a weight class as well. Yeah, down or up? Up. It was up. It was up. She went up. Yeah, she went up when she was a flyweight. She was an LFA champ at flyweight, and now she's fighting a bantamweight. She looked really good. She had a couple canceled fights in between. That's why the weight miss happened. They told her to stop cutting weight. She had, I think it was like 3 weight cuts in a matter of like 6 weeks or something like that. But I mean, she looks good. I want to see more of her. Definitely well rounded. I don't know if she's gonna be big enough for the weight class at bantamweight eventually, but yeah, good win for sure. Good way to start the card.
Yeah, I think Haley Cowan could be a good fighter in the UFC. I just think she has to get more of a full game, and she'll be good. So.
Yeah, I agree.
And then the next fight we had McGee versus Newson. McGee getting the win, getting a submission win after looking good on the feet as well. He trains with Sean O'Malley. You can tell because he throws a lot of flashy striking attacks, and he's actually very sharp. And he actually looks really good. I actually think he's actually gonna be good in the UFC. I think he's actually a good fighter in my opinion.
I
Showing some
I
grappling
wanna
skills as
I
well.
wanna see more out of Marcus McGee. I really do. That was fun. That was very fun to watch him just go out there. Took the fight on what 3 days notice and didn't look like it. Like
Yeah, he looked like
just
he was had a like 2 training camps.
yeah, dude, he looked insane. He wasn't missing. He looked really really good. I think for Journey Newsom, man, like you're fighting a guy who has nothing to lose, and Marcus McGee, you got to fight more aggressive. And Marcus McGee took his opportunity, and now, hey, he's gonna get another fight in the UFC at least. Uh, he trains with Sean O'Malley, so he's a good fighter in there. He's only got one loss in his career. I want to see more of Marcus McGee, man. That was a very fun fight to watch. I enjoyed every second of that. Great performance from him. And again, starts a trend on this card. This card really overperformed. Another great fight.
Hold up, I'm gonna cut this out, bro. You can use the mic I bought and plug it in there, right?
Yeah, except I can't find it.
All right, I'm gonna cut that out. All right, next fight we had Stephanie Ager versus Irina Alexieva. Alexieva, I think what got her the win in this was her stance. I think her stance it was kind of like awkward and just more straight up, but I think that invited Edgar to come for the takedown. But Alexieva coming from a sambo background, so like her throws, she Edgar came for the takedown and she threw her, and then she ends up getting the knee bar. So
Dude, the fact she
good win.
popped her knee in that knee bar too, nasty. That was. I want to see more of Arena Alexieva. Honestly, she looked really good. 5-1. They called her the Russian Ronda because they said when she had long hair she resembled Ronda or something. But I mean, she looked like Ronda in there for a bit. I'm not gonna lie, she looked really good. I mean, another great fight, another really nasty knee bar. Yeah, this card had a good mix of knockouts and submissions stuff like that. This is one of them. That submission, the way she got to that knee bar too was very fluid, very nice. Definitely want to see more out of her. Yeah, another great fight. Welcome to the big show, Rina Alexieva.
I think sambo is just another one of those backgrounds. I think it's like second to wrestling. I feel like somebody has a wrestling background, they have like a advantage in MMA. I think sambo is right up there, like number 2 or 3 as a background that gives you a big advantage, especially in a lot of grappling situations.
In jujitsu, so judo is basically like jujitsu with throws, And there's a saying that like sambo is jujitsu and judo with strikes, basically. And if you look at it, that really is what sambo is, where you can be good on the feet, you can be good on the ground, but you're also like adept at striking and submitting. Like you have a full arsenal when you do sambo, and you saw it with Piotr Jan when he first started his career until Piotr Jan started doing the Muay Thai crap of putting his guard high or whatever. But a lot of these sambo people do succeed. Like Khabib practice sambo, Islam practice sambo. Like sambo is Fedor Emelianenko, sambo as well. Sambo is just one of those styles where you really do learn how to adapt in every aspect of mixed martial arts. It definitely creates, I think, a more complete mixed martial artist who can also go compete in wrestling, go compete in jiu-jitsu, go compete in judo. So I think when you got these Russian prospects coming in with sambo backgrounds, it's a scary proposition for everybody. Because it's like, hey, what weakness do they really have that's not physical? In terms of like a skill set.
Then we had a flyweight bout. We had Durden,
Durden, yep.
yeah, grinding out decision win over Charles Johnson. Um, they had some beef on Twitter, and then they end up not really scrapping in this fight. It was more like a dominant Durden grappling wrestling match. So um, Charles Johnson just has to, get better at fighting takedowns. He seems like he's kind of big for that weight class, so I don't know why
11
he has so many
takedowns.
takedowns.
11 takedowns Cody Durden had. 11. Yeah, Charles Johnson's got to cut off the hair on the back of his head too. That's the first thing. That's not it. I don't know, man. I think Charles Johnson. It reminds me of like the Odie Osborne fight, where like there's talent there. He just like kind of freezes in the moment, though. I don't understand why. Like Cody Durden, other than maybe one or two shots Charles Johnson landed, like Cody Durden was in control of the whole entire fight. And whenever Charles Johnson did land some strikes on the feet, Cody Durden would just take him down, and grind him out. So I think it was a great fight. Yeah, for Cody Durden, he looks really good. Charles Johnson, man, I know he wants to stay active. Uh, got a kid on the way. Been trying to get a lot of fights, all that. But it's like, dude, maybe just take some time if you can. Go back to the drawing board because his wrestling is not there at all. We saw it in the Odie Osborne fight.
Flyweight, and this is the lightest division in the UFC. So.
Yeah, exactly. We saw in the Odie Osborne fight. That was his flaw too. His wrestling wasn't there. So I mean, yeah, good win for Cody Durden though. Definitely 30-27 all around. I think they scored this right as well. Not really a lot of bad judging this card. I was supposedly surprised.
Judging definitely has been better than what it used to be. So
Yeah.
or what it was. So, the next fight we had Martin Buday versus Jake Collier, a fight where both guys were hurt in the fight. Jake Collier hurt multiple times. I don't know. It's just so weird, team, that Jake Collier was so light and now he's at heavyweight. It's like I don't get what that is. Like, why does he want to fight a heavyweight when he can fight, like welterweight and below? So I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah. I think that's part of his flaw. Like Jake Collier was quicker than Buday, but because he was like the smaller guy, when he would have Buday up against a cage and he would have the Muay Thai clinch, Buday would still be landing knees on him from his back being on the cage. Which is something you don't often see, but it shows like, hey, size does play a factor. I thought Collier had the advantage in striking, but he kept trying to clinch him the whole time, which I didn't understand. Like Buday, in my opinion, Martin Buday was 100% fighting injured. He did not look healthy this fight. He looked really like kind of slow at times. It's just like I don't know. His striking seemed super hesitant for most of the fight, but he did what he had to do. I mean, he took advantage of the clinch game, where he kind of imposed his will there with his strikes. He was laying nasty knees to the body the whole time. It's nuts though. Martin Buday used to be 375 pounds and was a pro gamer, playing 20 hours a day, and now he's a brown belt in jiu-jitsu and 12-1.
Jake Collier looks like a pro gamer.
Yeah, no, seriously. Yeah, good win. It wasn't the best fight. It was okay fight. I didn't mind watching
Better
it.
than like the usual like random main card heavyweight fight. So.
Yeah, basically, 100%.
A little bit, just a little bit better though, not too much.
Yeah.
Then at welterweight we had Josh Quinlan and Trey Waters. Trey Waters ended up getting the decision win. And Trey Waters, showing off his striking in this fight. Josh Quinlan, I was high on him coming into this fight. Couple good striking wins he had, and but Trey Waters showing that he's big for the weight class and he knows how to manage the distance and get the wins.
Yeah, he's not big for the weight class. He's huge. He could fight at heavyweight if he put on the weight. He's 6'5". That is nuts. And like, I don't know. I don't know how he makes 170, but he doesn't look like unhealthy making 170. So I'll give him that. But then like the striking, like his boxing looks so solid, man. The hook, the little like left hook he would do stepping back. His jab was his bread and butter the whole fight. Like he literally, Josh Quinlan's face was a punching bag the
I
entire
mean,
fight.
yeah, I think Trey just took away anything straight that Josh could throw because of the distance. Everything he has to throw is combos, and it has to be hooking, and it has to be looping, and it ends up making you be open for punches. So
Yeah.
it's just when you're that size, you just have such a big advantage. You know?
One thing Dominic Cruz pointed out was how Trey Waters, when he's in a stance, he would lean down, like put his hand down on his leg to kind of bait Quinlan to go for a strike. And as soon as Quinlan would throw, he would back
Just
up,
lean
and
back.
then
Yeah.
that counter left. I mean, beautiful display. Trey Waters, LFA champ 2 weeks ago. He won his LFA belt and got to fight in the UFC. 8-1 now. I think he's an interesting prospect at welterweight. I'm excited to see what they do with him. I think there's a lot of fights you can make at welterweight for him, especially
Oh
being
God,
six
he
five.
could probably be a champ too. If he puts it all together.
Yeah, exactly, man. And he's 6'5". He's huge. Like, there's a good chance he moves up to middleweight at some point as well. Um, yeah, no, did great fight for Trey Waters and for Josh Quinlan, man. I get it. Trey Waters is 6'5". I'm not saying Josh Quinlan's small, but he looks small. he just everything he threw was just not there. He had one sequence where he did start landing in the second round on Trey Waters. And the leg kicks were working, but then Trey Waters just like nullified that with his jab. I think for Josh Quinlan, like be
He just looks like he just fights like a Walmart Masvidal.
yeah, basically. Which in that case, it's like, hey man, you have grappling in there. You're gonna have to use it. Like what Daniel Cormier said. If you're a smaller guy, you got to weave side to side to get inside the range of the bigger guy and then strike. I think Josh Quinlan kept trying to fight from the outside for some reason and kept trying to fight with his jab. You're fighting a guy that's 6'5". You're not hitting a jab on him at all. You got to get inside. You got to work the body. He had his moments. The
You got to
leg
pick the
kicks.
calf.
Yeah, the calf kicks were disgusting, but then I don't know. I think it's one of those things where when a guy fights for so long, they become stubborn in the sense of this is my style. Some guys, a lot of guys do with that, but there's other guys like this where it's like, hey, you gotta get out of it. Your style that you use to knock out Wit in the last fight, to knock out everybody else in your career, that's not gonna work when you're fighting a guy that's that big. You gotta adapt. You gotta work around it. You know.
And then we got a heavyweight fight coming up next. We had Marcos De Lima versus Acosta. De Lima, grinding them out and using his wrestling to get the decision win here because it looked like Acosta was better on the feet. But just another fight that shows like grappling matters. And if you're a heavyweight, the heavyweights don't really have that much skill on the ground. So if you're a heavyweight like Almeida or Lima, you can utilize your grappling skills to win some fights.
Yeah, grappling matters. I think also leg kicks, man. Those leg kicks were disgusting. It reminded me of the William Knight fight um, against Prohachnio, whatever. The leg kick, he just kept landing them, but then he got away from it. Like Delima just stopped throwing the leg kicks, which I don't understand why. Um, I mean, good win for the Lima, but Waldo Cortez Acosta, he definitely earned a lot of respect out of everybody. He kept fighting the whole fight. He had his moments as well. He's still young, man. I think for him, like it's not the end of the world. He can definitely improve off this. I think it was kind of reality checked of like, hey, even though you're a heavyweight, once you reach the UFC, you can't just knock guys out. You gotta be well versed in your game. You gotta work around the wrestling, work around checking leg kicks, all that stuff. Um, yeah, no, good win for the Lima UFC vet. He's already been in the UFC now 9 years, so it's good for him to get a fight like this, kind of make a little statement. And for Waldo Cortez, listen, still a hot prospect. I'm still big on him. His striking looks very clean when he doesn't have to worry about the leg kicks or whatever. But hey, that's part of the adapting in his game. He's probably gonna have to do it to this fight. Yeah, I'm shocked. A good heavyweight fight on a fight night card. That's two of them actually. It's nuts.
Two decent ones. So.
Yeah.
Then we had my guy Julian Erosa, sadly getting TKO'd by Fernando Padilla. Julian Erosa, I think he's a pretty good fighter, pretty good striker, but Padilla putting it on him and showing him that there's levels to striking on him. I don't know, these Mexican fighters are just going crazy.
Bro looked like prime Donald Cerrone with that combination to finish the fight. Like he didn't miss. His fists are like a magnet to Julian Erosa's head. That was great. That's some of the best striking I've seen in a minute. Like just very accurate, very composed. He didn't headhunt at the end either. He stayed composed, and you know, for people saying that's an early stoppage, listen, it was two knockdowns. One of them was a flash knockout. He wasn't getting out of that. Julian Erosa didn't as much you want to call an early stoppage. I get that, but there's a reason Julian Erosa argued about it for like 5 seconds and then said nothing afterwards because Padilla was going to win that fight at that point, and I think if you're Chris Tognoni, you have to do your job. And when you see a guy get whipped back twice like that, one's a flash knockout where he kind of woke up halfway down.
The first one, his knees buckled.
Yeah, first one his knees buckled. Second one he like crumbled and was gonna fall back and then caught himself. Yeah, no, it's a good stoppage for me. I think Padilla was on his head. So. But I think for Fernando Padilla, man, at featherweight especially, it's exciting what they could probably do with him at featherweight. Big for the weight class too, really long. I love it. I want to see more Fernando Padilla. That was great.
Yeah, he's Mexican fighters, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Got featherweight too. So you got Padilla and Yair, both in featherweight. So hey, featherweight with the Mexican fighters is looking good. So then you had Cody Brundage, failing to get the finish, and it ended up letting Vieira come back and beat him, get the submission win on round two. This is a fight that Cody should have just won. Simply put.
Yeah.
I mean, you had the guy hurt, and multiple times he could have finished the fight, and Rodolfo just fought back, ended up getting submission, and getting in a better position on the ground.
Yeah, no, I think Cody choked this 100%. He choked it. He had the finish. And then I'm sorry. Why would you go for a guillotine against a multiple time Brazilian Jiu Jitsu world champion? That makes no sense to me. And I think that's what lost him the fight because then Vieira got a better position out of it when he did get put in that guillotine. And for Rodolfo Vieira, it kind of gives me Andre Muniz vibes here, where he just somehow got an arm triangle, somehow got the finish. Like I still don't understand how he got to that spot, but he did it, and that's why listen, grappling's important, boys and girls. Go to a gym, go grapple. Because in moments like this when you're getting absolutely destroyed, grappling might be your saving grace. And that arm triangle was nasty. He had it one time, got pushed against the cage, readjusted, got it again. And you can see Cody Brundage just already had his hand like this, ready to tap. Like he knew it was coming. Cody Brundage, man, listen, he got knocked out by another guy on the card, and Alexeychuk. And then he loses this fight. I mean, you can tell there's talent there. He fights with a good team, man. It's just, it's up here. You got to put it all together. I think for Cody Brundage, there's a chance he could get cut after this fight. I'm gonna be honest with you. That's just how with the way the UFC works and all that. I hope not. I hope they give him one more shot. I think if he has one more fight, he might be able to put it all together. And Rodolfo Vieira, that 9-2 record is a little deceptive. His striking did not look good this fight. I think if he fights an actual striker who can grapple at middleweight, especially like even the next fight in the card, like give him like a Kyle Bohalio or whatever. Like I think Rodolfo Vieira, it looks a lot different for him. But hey, a win's a win. It is what it is. It was fun to watch. Good fight.
Yeah, good fight. And then the co-main, we had Caio
Bohalio.
Berhalio versus Mikhail. How do you say this guy's name?
Mikhail Alexeychuk.
Alexeychuk. Which I am a fan of his boxing, but he always just ends up losing. But he fights a lot of tough guys. So Caio getting the submission in round two, and then pointing to the camera and talking to the haters, saying, "Who says I can't get finishes?" Because he came to the UFC and started getting some decision wins. So making a statement here and getting the finish in round two.
Yeah, Caio said that he wanted to eliminate the doubters with this performance. No disrespect, but I still doubt because he does not know how to move his head when he is striking. He leans back. So Mikhail Lakeshuk put him up against the cage because Kyle can lean back against the cage and went to work on his head. And I think he had a chance if he would have just stuck to it. But for good reason, he was worried about the takedown. One thing led to another. Caio got the win. I think Kyle just needs to work on a strike defense, man. I think he's calling out Derek Brunson, which no, just let Derek Brunson stay retired, bro. I don't want to see that. I'm gonna be honest with you. I mean, at middleweight, he wants a top 15 guy. I say give him Chris Curtis. Give Kyle Chris Curtis, dude. I think Chris Curtis wins that fight because I think for Kyle, there's talent there. He's a great wrestler. He's a great grappler. He can strike in moments, but if you don't move your head in MMA, especially in the UFC, the top echelon of the sport, you're gonna get caught one of these times. I think Kyle got very fortunate that Mikhail landed, but Mikhail couldn't land clean on him this fight because there were some moments there where if there's a little bit more strength in those shots, Kyle probably would have gone to sleep tonight or last night. I mean, so good win though. The hype train still continues because people want to make him the next Paulo Costa or whatever. But I mean, I still doubt. I think he's gonna get derailed at some point. But hey, a win's a win. I'm not gonna knock a guy for winning. So.
And we had the main event, Song Yadong, 5-0, wiping Ricky Simon, and it ended up getting the finish in round 5. And this speaks to the level of Corey Sandhagen, because Corey Sandhagen getting the win over Song, and then Song, 5-0 beating a guy like Ricky Simon. So the Bantamweight is just so stacked, and those top tier guys are just levels above everybody else.
It was that the same Ricky Simone that's been in the UFC this long? Because that looked like a Dana White Contender Series fighter. No offense, Ricky Simone. He's a talented guy, but Song Yadong, bro, there was that sequence where he went for 3 takedowns at once on Song Yadong, and Song stuffed every single one of them, and you could tell Ricky did not know how to react to that. He chopped up Ricky Simone's leg. When he did get taken down, he pushed his head down, got up immediately. Shout out Team Alpha Male because that training, all those like lower weight guys that train there are the reason Song Yadong looked that good wrestling. And then on the feet, as soon as he got Ricky's timing down, counter left after counter left. Absolutely. Song Yadong's boxing is so clean, man. He stays composed. He's good with distance. His cardio is great. I see very little, and again, that shows the levels of Corey Sandhagen. Where hey, if Song Yadong doesn't get that cut on that fight, that fight probably would have gone the full distance, but it would have been a very close fight to score. It was close before they stopped it for the cut. And Corey Sandhagen's a title contender at bantamweight, and I think it shows the level. Song Yadong's 12 fights in 6 years in the UFC, which is nuts. I think Song Yadong, man. I texted you this last night. I said Rob Font, but I think I'm with you. I want Cheeto Vera. I want to see Cheeto against Song Yadong. I mean, this guy, he not only won the fight, he won it in a way where you can't. Like Ricky Simone's a guy that has a win over Marab, has a 5-fight win streak, beat Jack Shore, who was a high prospect before this. And Ricky Simone is one of the more active grapplers in the UFC. And he only allowed Ricky to have 51 seconds of control time. That's nuts. Like
5 rounds.
In 5 rounds, yeah. No, Song Yadong, man, he's the real deal. He's the real deal. Give him bigger fights. I think this guy in the next year, 2 years, especially the way Bantamweight is, could be fighting for a title. He's that good, He called out Sean O'Malley last night, interestingly, but he said the UFC is protecting Sean, so they won't give him that fight. I don't know if that's the level he's at yet. I'm not going to say he hasn't earned it, but that'd be a tougher fight to make than like a Cheeto Vera or Rob Font,
Yeah, I mean, Sean needs to fight somebody. I mean, he's number 2. You're not ranked number 1. So, and I forgot. Song already has a win over Cheeto, so they might as well do a rematch too.
Yeah. Or give Corey Sean O'Malley. Give Corey Sean O'Malley. And then just do, Song versus Cheater, Saw versus Ron Font. But Sean O'Malley has to fight someone at this point because Bantamweight is getting so stacked to the point where that win over Piotr Jan that Sean O'Malley has is looking more and more empty by the day.
Yeah, you got a 3-round from the barely win over Piotr Jan, and then you got a guy Marab who beat him 5 rounds easily, and then you got a guy like Ron Font who just beat Adrian Yanez and knocked him out. And then you got Chris Gutierrez.
Yeah, Giannis. He beat Giannis.
Giannis,
Yeah.
and then you got all these guys doing everybody in bantamweight putting on big performances. Then you got Corey, what he did to Cheeto,
Mm-hmm.
and then you got what Song Yadong just did. So I mean,
And I think the difference with these guys, I know Sean's turning more into a money fighter. Well, he always has been. He's always said he wants to fight money fights. That's the problem, though. You're not the way the bantamweight's working. Like we'll get into next week's card in a second here, but now with Sterling and Cejudo fighting, we talked about this. If Cejudo wins, he'll probably fight Volk. If Aljo wins, he's probably fighting Volk or Yair. Um,
he's not fighting up there, bro. They're not gonna give him that fight.
well, if he wins and he has the belt, like he has a good argument that they'll
No,
probably
he
make.
doesn't.
They'll make the
He
money
hasn't.
fight.
He
It's
hasn't.
just it's.
He hasn't cleared out his division.
But see the discussion that we're having. That's the problem with bantamweight right now. That's the issue. If you're Sean O'Malley, you have to fight people because of this. Because let's say they do an interim belt, right? Marab and Corey Sandhagen right now have a better argument to be the interim bantamweight title fight than Sean O'Malley does because he's not staying active. So again, that Piotr Jan win is looking more and more empty by the day for Sean O'Malley. He needs to fight someone. Fight Song. Fight Song Yadong. Fight Rob Font. Fight somebody, dude. Like it's just I don't know. It's not looking good for him.
Ooh, I just thought about this. I want to see Peter Yan versus Song. That would be a banger fight, bro.
It would.
Pure
Now,
boxing. Pure boxing.
do you want to see Piotr Jan go on a five fight losing streak?
No, but shit, I think he could win that fight though. Corey
Yes,
won that
I could.
fight. Peter,
I mean, I
Peter
could see him winning it, but I don't think he will. I think Piotr Jan's striking's gotten exposed a lot lately, and I think Song Yadong's showed that he really doesn't have any holes in his game tonight. So I mean, especially with how high Piotr fights with his guard, be a good fight. I would not mind seeing that fight. Honestly, that probably is the next one they'll book is Song and Piotr Jan. Um, and I think for Ricky Simone, like, hey, it's not the end of the world. He's fought a lot of tough guys lately. You know, it wasn't like he fought horribly. It was just Ricky couldn't get his game plan going. Yeah, wait, didn't Umar Nurmagomedov just got booked against Marab, didn't he?
Bro?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was what I saw. So yeah, that's another. We're gonna go into the part of the show now where we talk about who we book with everybody, but that's something I had seen where Umar Nurmagomedov did get booked.
Let's talk about BKFC first. Let's talk about stuff that happened.
Yeah, let's talk. Okay, let's get into BKFC. I'll look this up.
We had Chad Mendez versus Jose Alvarez.
Eddie Alvarez.
Eddie Alvarez, my bad. I always say Jose. I always said it. I don't know why. Oh, Eddie Alvarez getting the decision win. Do you agree with that? I feel like I had Chad winning the fight because he had 2 knockdowns.
They both did. They both had 2 knockdowns.
Okay, but Chad had the last knockdown in round 3, and Eddie had one in round 3, but Chad had the last one, and then Chad had one earlier in the fight. I had Chad winning Eddie winning round 1 because you cut him. You cut Chad early, and then I had Chad winning the middle 3, I think, or like 2 of the middle ones, and Eddie winning the 4th, and Chad winning the 5th.
I think Eddie won. I had Eddie winning because I think Eddie. I don't know. There was moments, especially near the end, where even though Chad did get the knockdown, he looked hurt. He looked a lot more hurt, and I think Eddie was landing the harder shots. Especially when he did knock him down. I mean, either way it goes, Chad retired after this fight. And he didn't really argue the decision either. I think it could have gone to overtime, in my opinion, because BKFC has the overtime rule. They should have gone to overtime just to be safe.
They should let the crowd just chant overtime, and if the crowd wants it, they give it to him.
Yeah, no, for sure. And Eddie Alvarez, man. I mean, listen, Eddie's always had good hands. He's called the Underground King for a reason. Yeah, again, the whole BKFC card was really good. That was a great fight. Yeah, no, I have no complaints. Maybe in overtime. That's the only thing I have a complaint about with that fight.
I had no complaints for that fight, but for the main fight, I had a complaint for Luke Rockhold basically quitting, even though he's got his chip his teeth broken, but still, I mean, they give the fans they fight, bro.
I mean, we're talking about a guy that did modeling for Calvin Klein, bro.
Oh, he did date
Demi
Demi
Lovato.
Lovato.
Yeah, yeah. Listen,
They slash them.
I love how Mike Perry just humbled Luke Rockhold when he got in there. Luke Rockhold got one shot in on Mike Perry. Mike Perry just got inside and cracked him over and over and over again.
I think Luke was scared of getting knocked out. That's why he quit. Like I think he could have kept fighting, but he was like, "Nah, like I'm starting to get hit."
Which, if that's the case, then don't do it. Don't fight
He's
it.
talking about going back to MMA. Like hell
No, not even MMA. He's talking about going back to the UFC. Like, okay, bro, no, we're not doing that. No, and he wants to blame the surgery he had, why he can't throw kicks in his leg or whatever. And I understand. I'm not discrediting that. Retire then. Simple as that. Retire. Boxing isn't obviously not for you. After what I saw last night, no.
or at least bare knuckle.
Yeah, well, even real boxing, man, he just, I don't know. The stance looked bad. The punches were, I don't know. I think,
He's a physical specimen, but he just is so gumpy.
yeah, he's a physical specimen, but he's corny. Corny as a human being, corny in the way he moves, corny in the way he fights. I don't know if you ever seen the video when he was trying to rizz up this one girl and yeah, no, corny. Luke Raw was corny.
He's from Denver and they were booing him. So.
Yeah. He's a Cali boy now, man. Come on. Yeah, man. He trained in Cali so long. He's got the Cali looks. He spray tans. I can't respect the man that spray tans. Yeah, no. Mike Perry, though, man. I've always said Mike Perry. There's a good fighter in there. It's just, I think this is the sport for him.
Outside the fighting.
Yeah, I think BKFC is a sport for him. I think more than MMA. It's more his style. And listen, he looks like he's having fun. He's getting paid. He's undefeated in BKFC. He beat MVP Michael Venom Page, which is nuts. No, I love it. I love seeing Mike Perry doing it. Let's talk about Conor going in the ring.
That was corny as fuck, bro. That shit was corny as hell.
With the belt. Talking about fighting Mike.
You know they paid him. They paid him to do that, bro.
Yeah. I don't disagree. My question is, so Conor has time to do this, but doesn't have time to be in the USADA pool.
Yeah, and he was drinking proper 12 in the crowd. Like, bro, he's not training, bro. Not training at all.
Bro, he was giving people shots of proper 12 at the Tank and Garcia fight last week. Like,
he's killing, bro. I'm telling you, he does what he wants.
Which, okay, if he's out doing all this stuff, does that mean they'd finish filming Ultimate Fighter already? Like, what's going on? Like,
yeah, they finished it. Conor already leaked that his team did better than Michael's team.
I thought it was only for the selection one. Yeah, I thought it was only for the selection one.
I'm pretty sure they're done filming because it's about to drop at the end of this month, the next month.
Oh, well, in that case, okay, Michael Chandler's training. Michael Chandler's posted that he's training. Kill Cliff's posted that he's training. Is this fight gonna happen? I need to know, man.
I mean, it's already April. It's not gonna happen. It might even be next year, honestly. Really, that's crazy.
You know. Let's ask the real question: is Conor just ever gonna fight in MMA again? Honestly,
I think so, but I don't know.
Bro's got.
You got Justin Gaethje using the crowd of BKFC. I think he would be perfect for BKFC. I think Justin Gaethje would be.
Yeah, true. I think Justin wants one more title run though to see if he can get it, and then he'll do it. Bro, it's just I'm looking at the picture now of Conor with the BKFC belt, an organization he's never fought in, face to face with Platinum Mike Perry, bro.
Just a meme.
Yeah, no, and Mike Perry says he's a free agent as well after this. So I mean, bro, don't tell me.
Big bucks now.
Don't tell me I could see the UFC doing this just for the jokes, like they did with Conor versus Cowboy. They're just gonna have Conor fight Mike Perry in the UFC. Just having headline a pay per view. Just okay, Conor versus Mike Perry. Like,
I can't see that at all.
They did it with Cowboy Cerrone when Cowboy was on like a 4-fight losing streak. I've seen crazier things in this sport, unfortunately. And it's Conor McGregor. He can do whatever he wants, as we've seen. I mean, yeah, good. Listen, BKFC though, good for them. They're on the map, man. They're on the map. Very good. Like, I think one thing Ariel Helwani, it was Ariel Helwani or Okamoto tweeted this last night. The BKFC card, the way they make their events, there's no fillers. It's just fights, 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 fights. Like, very little promotional stuff, just all fights. I love that. It's better entertainment for us.
Better for the short attention span that we're going into. So.
Yeah, exactly. And then the 2-minute rounds as well, super nice. Yeah, no, I liked it.
Then we got to talk about the return of Triple C, Henry Cejudo against Aljamain in UFC 288. And you also got Gilbert Burns with Bilal Muhammad on this card, which, hey, these guys are like, you know what, I want the next title shot after Kobe, so we're going to figure out which one of us deserves it. So I love this fight. It's a perfect matchup.
So here's some of the names fighting on this card, fights to look out for. You got Phil Hawes fighting Ikram Aliskerov. That looks to be a good fight. Marina Rodriguez and Virna Jandiroba. That's going to be a really good fight in the women's division, in my opinion. Drew Dober's fighting. Drew Dober is fighting against Frivola.
That's going to be a banger.
Kennedy and Nzechukwu is fighting Devin Clark. I think that has potential to be a little sneaky good fight. Crone Gracie got on the main card. Is finally back after, 4 years off? Fighting Charles Air Jordan. I like Charles Jordan.
Charles Jordan.
He's a favorite in this fight. We'll see how this goes. Crone Gracie obviously trains with Diaz brothers, Cesar Gracie. Movsar Evloev is filling in to fight Bryce Thug Nasty Mitchell. This has potential for fight of the night right here.
Yeah, this is going to be a banger. Both guys well-rounded all around. So.
Yeah.
And Bryce trying to come back after that Taforia loss. So.
Yeah, no, and Evloev undefeated. I like Evloev a lot at featherweight. Jessica Andrade is fighting again somehow. I don't know how she's taking so many fights back to back to back. But, yeah, Jessica Andrade is fighting again against Jan Janoan.
What weight class? Strawweight.
Strawweight, yeah. No, she went down.
She just jumps around, so you got to always check.
Yeah, her body probably hates her at this point because those weight cuts are... And then the co-main, Gilbert Burns versus Bilal. Bilal finally took a fight.
Gilbert, please, bro. Please, send this man to the shadow realm. Please.
Gilbert, we're big fans of you on the show. I want you to know that. All right, Gilbert, we're big fans of you on the show. Do the world a favor, please. Choke this man unconscious. Make him bleed. Pound him out, bro. Please. Bilal is talented at one thing. Wrestling. Everything else, his mic skills, corny. His Instagram. You're not Derek Lewis, bro. Stop it. You will never be Derek Lewis. Stop trying to be like it. You're not even Kevin Holland. The level of funny on you, like, you're like when Conor McGregor posts memes on a story. You're down here. Paulo Costa, Derek Lewis, Kevin Holland, we'll put you guys up here, right?
No, Paulo Costa number one right now.
Yeah, Paulo Costa definitely number one right now. Bilal is corny on social media. Bilal is an Ali Abdelaziz disciple, Habib disciple, loves him, kisses him, whatever, bro. That's cool, right? You'll never be them. You never will, bro. And again, respect to you. You're 22-3. You won most of your fights just laying on people. You got, one really good knockout win against Sean Brady, who was, injured in that fight. Came in that fight injured. Listen.
Could have been an early stoppage as well.
Yeah. Listen, Gilbert Burns, that man wants a belt. That man deserves to fight for a belt. If Bilal Muhammad somehow, some way, God forbid, stops Gilbert Burns' title run, I ain't
gonna lie though, Bilal versus Kobe wouldn't be the worst fight though.
No, it wouldn't, but Colby would destroy him because Colby actually knows how to offensively grapple and actually throw punches on the ground. Bilal just lays on people. I hope you're listening to this, Bilal. Somehow, some way, I hope this gets to you. You just lay on people. You lay on people on the ground. All right? You could you're like Kamaru. Throw punches on the ground, bro. You don't just lay on people on the ground. Gilbert Burns, Gilbert Burns does not care who you are. He wants to chop heads off, and I love it. I love this Gilbert Burns right now. I think after that Kamaru loss, it woke up something in him where this dude just wants to kill everybody. All right. So thank you for taking on this fight. It saved the card, honestly, because the card was looking like a disaster before a lot of these fill-in fights came in. Mozart Love, another one. Yeah, no, bro. Give me all the money on Gilbert Burns. I will bet my house. I'll bet my car. I'll bet my laptop. I will bet my underwear, socks, and shoes on Gilbert Burns, bro. I'm done.
The main event, you got Aljamain Sterling versus Henry Cejudo. Cejudo trying to make history, trying to get the belt back, and then he's trying to go up and fight Volk afterwards. So.
Make it a parlay. Make it a parlay. I'm putting all my stuff on Cejudo as well.
Yeah, we need two prayers. We need a prayer to go out for the Cejudo. We need prayers to go out for Burns, please, because we need Belil out of here. We need Aljamain out of here for real. I don't know. They're just not it. I don't know. There's something about him. I just don't like him. I don't know.
Imagine being a champion, right? And not even being the best fighter out of your gym in the same weight class. That's Aljamain Sterling's life. Because if him and Merab actually did fight, come on. All right. Anyways, to the Cejudo fight. All right. Henry Cejudo, Olympic gold medalist, flyweight champion, bantamweight champion.
Defended both.
Beat Mighty Mouse. Beat TJ Dillashaw. Beat Dominic Cruz. Beat Marlon Moraes. What more do people like, bro? Sergio Pettis, the current bantamweight champion of Bellator, 3-0 wiped them out. Like Henry Cejudo is him. Henry Cejudo, like on the list of accomplishments, is by far the most accomplished combat sports athlete of all time. Is Henry Cejudo, right? He took all this time off. And I feel like it made him better. You see him train. You see mentally when he breaks out in fights, like this dude is levels above everybody. You saw what he did, training with Demetrius, training with John Jones, how those guys have fought since then. The credit they give to Henry Cejudo. Paulo Costa. Who? Weili, yeah. I mean, bro, Henry Cejudo is a different breed. I think Aljamain has to play up the fact that he's a champ. He has to kind of act out. Where Henry Cejudo, that's just who he is. He had a tough life growing up. He's earned everything he's had. He's been a champ since 2008 in every way, shape, or form. When he won a gold medal as the youngest gold medalist in wrestling in American history. Dude, Henry Cejudo. At that time, yeah, no. I think Henry Cejudo, like, you could say, the reach advantage is Aljamain. I'll give you that. The height advantage is Aljamain. I'll give you that. In fact, Aljamain is a better jiu-jitsu practitioner. Sure, cool, whatever. Henry Cejudo beat Demetrius Mighty Mouse Johnson. That's all you got to say. That's like, I think for Aljamain Sterling, unless somehow he gets his back, Cejudo's winning this fight. Hands down. Five-round fight. I think this, like, Cejudo's built for this. Aljamain went 5 rounds with Petr Yan, right, in the second fight. And are we going to forget how Aljamain probably lost the last 3 rounds of that fight?
Yeah, he looked tired, and Petr Yan's just not like a volume fighter. Petr Yan's like a slow, methodical, take my time fighter as well. And Aljamain looked like he was about to die at the end of all those fights.
Mm-hmm. Meanwhile, Henry Cejudo adapts. He has many different styles. He can fight you karate style. He can fight you boxing style. He can do Muay Thai. He can do Henry Cejudo. He reminds me of John Jones in a way. Like these guys that can show so many different facets in the same fight and switch and adapt. And it's like you can't prepare for that. You really can't unless you're as good. The Demetrius Johnsons of the world who fought Henry Cejudo. I only see this fight going one way, man. And I want it to go one way. It has to. It's written in the stars. Henry Cejudo has earned the right to get his belt back. So everybody that's saying, why is Henry getting a title shot? Hey, he never lost the belt. I think if you don't lose the belt, if you come back, you definitely earn the right to, ask for a title shot. Bro, I think this card got saved by the fact that Aljo is fighting Henry. Because Aljo cannot sell fights. Henry Cejudo, just his Instagram videos, sold this fight. He's got that personality, that moxie, that championship heart. No, yeah, give me all the money. We'll make a parlay. Gilbert Burns and Henry Cejudo. Bet everything in the house on it.
Throw one more in there. Throw one more in there.
Mozalar's the favorite, so I won't do that. Dover. Oh my gosh, this saw. Oh, Michigan boy, Chaos Williams is on the card. Forgot about that. Got Chaos back. I like him.
Daniel Santos, bro. Put it on him, bro. Put him on the parlay. The guy that got robbed, he fights shoot the box.
I don't know, man. Guys that dye their hair blonde before fights, I don't trust too much.
They go too crazy.
You know, if we're gonna make a parlay, I think I'm gonna take Jan against Jessica Andrade as an underdog pick.
Really?
I think she can do. I think she could do it.
She's coming off the fight against Grasso, right?
I think it was Grasso. Yeah. She's looked good. She hasn't looked horrible in her fights.
Mackenzie Dern.
Oh, and she's Team Alpha Male. She trains with Song. Yeah, she beat Mackenzie Dern. She lost to Carlos Barza. That's what it was. Carlos Barza and Marina Rodriguez.
She lost to Marina Rodriguez too.
But I mean, she's got one against Mackenzie Dern.
I think Andrade can get it done.
Like getting a win against Mackenzie Dern is no joke either. So I mean,
yeah, that's a good one, but Mackenzie's also fluky.
Yeah, I will say this card 3-4 weeks ago looked absolutely horrible. Shout out to Sean Shelby, Dana for saving this card because it definitely looks a lot better on paper than it did a few weeks ago.
Yeah, no, now it might be a sleeper card where it might actually be super fire.
And shout out Gilbert and Henry and Gilbert and Bilal. I will say that. Shout out to them taking the fight, going on going and taking the co-main event. Definitely saved the card as well. Not having Benil and Oliveira. Also, back to what we were talking about earlier. It turns out Merab turned down Umar Nurmagomedov.
Oh, yeah. He's just waiting for all this Aljamain stuff to happen, and then he's going to see what his options are.
Yeah, no, I don't blame him. Let's see. Other news we got. Oh, Renzo Gracie. Renzo Gracie's father, Robson Gracie, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu Grandmaster Robson Gracie passed away. Condolences to Renzo and the Gracie family. Robson Gracie was a pioneer, 9th degree red belt. Trained Renzo, trained Ryan Gracie, Henry Gracie. Absolute pioneer of the sport. Very soft-spoken guy. One of the only 9th degree red belts ever. He was the son of Carlos Gracie, so one of the founders of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Big loss in the combat sports community. Robson Gracie. Deontay Wilder, Anthony Joshua is confirmed for December. How do you feel?
That's the fight I wanted to see if neither one of them was going to fight Francis. I mean, Tyson's already booked with Ruiz, so we need to see that. We need to see that Fury versus Joshua. We need to see that Fury versus Usyk. We need to see all those fights.
The bet that Francis Ngannou took on himself is looking worse and worse by the day.
He's gonna end up back in UFC.
Well, one championship said, Chari Sit-Yatong, the owner of one on the Ariel Helwani MMA Hour was talking about they're gonna talk with Francis Ngannou this week. They said they have the money to offer him what he wants, which is great, cool.
Oh yeah, aren't they backed by Amazon?
They are on Amazon. They're not backed by Amazon. Chari Sit-Yatong has its own money and their own Asian interests. They're money-wise, they're almost as big as the UFC, if not bigger. They have a ton of money in the Asian market. That's not my issue. The money is there. I agree 100%. It's just, in one, who's Francis going to fight?
Yeah, I don't know any heavyweights in one.
I don't even think they have any good heavyweights in one. One is no more for the lower weight classes, So, I mean, I don't know, get Alistair Overeem. They don't drug test over there. Have Alistair Overeem do it. I don't know. It's just, you know what I'm saying? It's just, it's looking bad. Cool, you're going to get your money, Francis, but at what cost? Nobody's going to get up at 4 a.m. to watch a one fight.
I might watch the Demetrius Johnson fight. I ain't gonna
lie. That's different. They've been booking Demetrius Johnson now in American time zone where it's easier to watch.
Oh yeah, it's in America this time too.
Yeah, exactly. See what I mean? It's a lot. they know how to book it but he's not Demetrius though. He doesn't have that pull.
Francis is about to be fighting in Usman's Nigerian league.
I'm gonna look this up just for fun. One championship heavyweights. Do they even have any? Like,
Yeah, I'm trying to think. And PFL's buying Bellator.
yes. So that news, supposedly by the end of next year, they will finalize that. I don't know. I'm interested to see what happens with all that.
When they first merge, they should do like a PFL versus Bellator like tournament thing. Where they have the fighters from Bellator fight the fighters from PFL, and then after that happens, then do the merge. That'd be fire.
You're about to bust out laughing. I'm gonna count this off. All right. You ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. That's how many heavyweights one has on their roster, and one light heavyweight.
They're gonna have enough to make the top 15, so like they only got like a top 5. Gotta make it into the top 5.
Oh, Francis. Oh, what a guy. What a guy.
Even if he signs like, and he gets a fight, like who's gonna watch a fight? Because there's no names big enough. Unless they sign like 2 people at the same time, like they sign him and sign somebody for him to fight.
Just have Sage Northcutt move up to heavyweight. I don't know. That's another one. Sage Northcutt is coming back after, I think it's 4 years off. I'm interested to see how that one goes. Yeah, Sage Northcutt. I think that was one guy got pushed way too quick by the UFC. I'm interested to see what he does. He fights this weekend. He fights on Friday. One's holding the event on Friday. Let's just see. 27 years old now. Supposedly Sage Northcutt has looked really good in training. We'll see what happens. Mikey Mismucci is fighting on that card as well. A lot of good names. Like one does have names, just the lower weight class. I don't understand why Francis would go 2-1. Bellator already said they're out of there. UFC said they're not ever negotiating with him again, which they might go back on because usually when they say that,
they're not going to negotiate, but they'll tell him something and he's going to be like, okay.
Yeah, and it'll probably be 4 or 5 years down the line because we saw it with Cyborg, we saw it with George St. Pierre when he came back. If they said they're not going to negotiate with the guy, they'll do it eventually. That's not the issue. It's just like, okay, by the time, let's say Francis does come back to the UFC 3-4 years down the line, he'll be like, 38? The division will pass him by. John Jones will be gone by then. Stipe will be gone by then. Pavlovich will probably be champion at that point, 4 or 5 years down the line, if we're being realistic. The Pavlovich versus Ngannou fight at 38 years old, that's not. I mean,
I think it still sells. Honestly, it's not a lie.
It still sells. I think it's less favorable for him because we saw the knee injuries with Ngannou. He's not fighting now, so there's gonna be ring rust. So it's like.
Now, 4 or 5 years from now, Cyril Gane might be champ.
Yeah, I forgot about Gane. I don't know, Cyril Gane.
Like a Tom Aspinall or something like that.
Cyril Gane is so soft to me, though, after that performance against John. Not taking anything from John's greatness, but for all the stuff Cyril Gane was talking, all right, bro. All right. No, Tom Aspinall is definitely a name up there. No, listen, exciting stuff. Listen, the world of MMA doesn't stop. There's always news every single day. We're going to try to churn out as much as we can. Turn on notification bell on YouTube on our channel. That way you know every time we drop something. Turn on notification on Instagram every time we post on our story. Post a reel. We're always trying to post content for you guys, whether it's news, whether it's memes. Big shout out. Devon's been holding down the fort on the social media page. Shout out Mr. Charlie Hugh Fam, helping us out last week, producing the episode. We appreciate it. And a shout out to all you guys who keep supporting, keep following, who keep interacting. We appreciate you guys. We really do. Thank you for sticking with this project. This has been the Glove Talk Podcast, episode 12. Don't forget to tune in next week. Cejudo Sterling. I will be making breakdowns for the fights. I'm excited. You should be too. This is going to be a great card. And don't forget to tune in next Sunday. Another episode of the Glove Talk Podcast.